Welcome to Revenue Growth Live with Darrell Amy. You're about to join an interactive forum where business executives, sales professionals, and marketing leaders share ideas to accelerate growth. While you are here, make sure to like or subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. You're encouraged to get involved in today's live conversation by liking and commenting. Now, let's join Darrell Amy for fresh ideas and innovative strategies to help you grow your business faster.
Hello and welcome back to Revenue Growth Live. Darrell Amy here, growth architect, helping generous companies grow so they can give. And we are right smack dab in the middle of my favorite week of the year. It is the week between Christmas and New Year's. This is a week of planning. This is a week of reflection. And I absolutely love this week. I am so excited about the things that I have working for the new year. We have some very exciting initiatives and opportunities to announce in the new year. I just can't wait to do that. I've been working on those this week, and it's so exciting. And today, though, I want to talk about something that has been incredibly valuable to me during this last week of the year. I want to amp it up a notch this year. I'm going to share with you how I'm going to do that. And I'm going to challenge you to do the same. And that is to create an annual report. But as we get started today, and before we dive into how to create an annual report, your annual report for yourself, and possibly for your work inside your company, I want to just make sure you're aware of something that is so exciting. And that is the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. The 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge, I got to say, I've been working with Larry on this. Many of you know I co-host the Selling from the Heart podcast with Larry Levine, have been doing it for over 3 years, known Larry for over 15 years. He is just pure gold. He is the most authentic, genuine. He's fantastic, and he's great at sales. He is a coach to some of the highest performance sales professionals, and he also works with some incredible companies, helping them develop their sales. Well, guess what? We have taken this opportunity. We sat down a couple months ago and said, what would be an incredible way to start the new year? What would we like? When we think about what would be an awesome way to start the new year. And we came up with this idea, the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. And we invited 10, actually there's over a dozen incredible thought leaders, motivators, inspirational people that we have met and gotten to know that we believe really embody the characteristics of authenticity, authentic relationship, authentic value, authentic trust, and the core components of authentic sales success. And we've invited them to share with us at the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge. Here's the good news. It's every day from January 11th to 22nd. It's from 12 to 1 Eastern time live. If you can't be there live every day, we get it. That's why we're going to put the recordings. They'll be available so you can consume those later in the day. If you're there live, though, there are some incredible prizes that we'll be giving out. And best of all, this is absolutely free. Thanks to our generous sponsors at BombBomb, Selling from the Heart Insiders Group, and a couple more that we'll be announcing here shortly. So I want to really challenge you to, and all pun intended there, to join this Selling from the Heart, the 2021 Authentic Selling Challenge, brought to you by BombBomb and the Selling from the Heart Insiders Group. Let me just drop that over here in the comments, and you've got a link to that. It is incredible, the people that are signing up and the response we're getting. It's gathering an amazing community. Also want to give a shout out as well to Mary Lou Tyler. Many of you know Mary Lou Tyler either from Predictable Revenue or from Predictable Prospecting. Both dynamite books, both synchronize very well with the mindset of the revenue growth engine. It's a process mindset. It's a mindset of bringing authentic value. So absolutely love it. And I got to talk with Mary Lou Tyler last week and last Wednesday. This went out right before Christmas. If you didn't see it, consider this your late Christmas gift. You get to spend 30 minutes with Mary Lou Tyler. The podcast episode is fantastic. You're really going to like it. And she brings so many ideas to the table. I love the way she thinks. And she's also just an all-around genuine, awesome person. So check out Predictable Revenue Strategies, our episode with Mary Lou Tyler on the Selling from the Heart podcast. It's available on our website. And of course, where all fine podcasts are sold. And by the way, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, I just want to say thank you to everybody. This has been an incredible year. We'll be putting out a compilation episode tomorrow of all of our favorite conversations through this year. It's been a blast getting to know many of you and also getting to talk with some of my favorite thought leaders. So it's been a good year. We've run over 40 episodes this year, and we're going to head into the new year strong with the Revenue Growth Podcast. And I encourage you to check it out. You can check it out at the link on the screen. So welcome to the new year. This is the last week of the year. We've got a new year around us and around the corner for us. And I know many people right now are saying, Darrell, I can't wait for this new year to get here. And I think that many of you, I think we can all agree that this year has been challenging. So, but at the same time, this has been an incredible year of growth. And the reality is some of the most challenging times end up being some of the most fruitful times. As my friend Pablo Giacopelli says in his book, Holding On Loosely, failure is the most fertile learning ground. And so whether you've experienced some failure this year or whether you've just experienced the challenges of navigating, pivoting, repivoting, and trying to figure out how to navigate the world that we found ourselves in, the reality is, I think we have a lot to be able to look back on and be thankful for. And I think that it's very important to take time, and this is a great time to do it annually, to look back over the previous year and document all of the things you accomplished. And I think that is really important to do before you plan for the new year, because it's going to do a couple things. First of all, it's going to give you some context. You're going to see how much you actually were able to accomplish when you start to list everything out. I started doing this past weekend, just listing out the highlights from this past year in my personal life, in my business life, in my nonprofit life. And the reality was, even though this year was fraught with challenges, even though there wasn't much travel, even though there were so many different things that went on, the reality is this year ended up being a very powerful and productive year. I got a lot done. There's a lot to report on. And so I encourage you, and when I started looking at that list, it was pretty exciting. So step one of this whole thing is I encourage you to sit down sometime this week. Hopefully this is a bit of a slower week for you, or if you're frantically closing out the year, find some time over the weekend. We've got New Year's Day on Friday. We've got the weekend after that. Find some time to sit down with a cup of coffee or a cigar or somewhere quiet, and sit down with a notepad and start listing out all of the things that you accomplished. For me, I like to do a couple things. I like to pull out my calendar and go and just look. It'll remind me of some of the highlights of different things that happened. I'll go month by month and note some of the high points of things that were accomplished. The other thing that I'll do is, and this one's really fun, is pull out your phone and start scrolling through some of the pictures and look at your year in review and start to snag some of those pictures, mark them, maybe tag them or grab them and put them in a document and start to pull out some of the highlights of this past year. What's going to happen is you're going to begin building a list of all the accomplishments. And so I'm going to encourage, and I do this every year. It really helps me understand where I've been. And this is a beautiful foundation on which to plan your new year. So start with that. Make a list of everything you did, everything you accomplished. And then what I like to do is take that list and I like to then categorize it. So for me, I've got several different lists that come out of that. Family and friends would be a great list. Businesses, so look at your business accomplishments, and then take a look at maybe some of the other accomplishments. For me, I get to be involved in Revenue Growth Engine. I also get to serve as the visionary and strategist for Convergo, doing revenue growth strategies for companies that use the entrepreneurial operating system. And I also get to work at Selling from the Heart, co-hosting the podcast with Larry. So all of those are subcategories of business. And I've started listing out all the different things we accomplished. And I'll tell you what, you'll get fired up when you start to see that in your own life. So sit down, make a list of everything that you accomplished, go through the calendar, go through your photos. If you journal, which is another great habit, which I highly, highly recommend, flip through your journal as well and see, what stuck out to you. Maybe bring a highlighter on a tour through your journal. Now, take all of that, categorize it by different areas of your life. And if you stop right here, you're going to be very, very encouraged. If you want to kick it up to the next level, here's what I challenge you to do. Every Fortune 500 company has an annual report. Every nonprofit has an annual report. An annual report is something that goes back and highlights all that happened during the previous year. What if you had an annual report for your life? What if you had an annual report for your life where you went back and you categorized and you documented everything that happened this past year? Maybe you wrote a summary at the beginning. It was kind of a letter to yourself, just like the CEO of a company or the executive director of a nonprofit might write a letter for the cover of the annual report. What if you wrote a letter to yourself and said, hey, you know what? 2020 was a challenging year. This is probably how everyone's letter is going to start out. But here's what happened. Here's how I grew. Here are the things that I did. By the way, the other thing you can make a list of as you're making the list is make a list of all the books that you read. Hopefully Revenue Growth Engine was one of them. If not, you need to get a copy. You can get it on Audible, and you can actually get a free copy right now. Just pay shipping. There you go. Look at that right across the bottom, revenuegrowthengine.net/book. Hopefully you read that this past year. If not, no worries. Put it on your stack for 2021. But go through that annual report and write that cover letter and say, okay, 2020 was a challenging year. However, ... this is how I grew. This is what I did. And then maybe you want to go through and actually build an annual report and do a page on your personal accomplishments, do a page on your business accomplishments, do a page on your nonprofit or charity type accomplishments, and actually have a little bit of fun with it. Look, we've got marketing and salespeople listening to this podcast. So if you are a marketing person, guess what? You know how to do this. Go, make it look cool. Wouldn't it be great to have an annual report printed out and sitting on your desk? So I've just upped the game here. I've just kind of committed to this. So there you go. That's the power of live television. Is I just committed to doing my annual report. I've never done one before like this. I've always left it at making a list of everything I've done, but I want to write that letter to myself. And I want to create a document. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll have that at the next Revenue Growth Live. But here's the deal. This is an incredible time right now. This is a fruitful time to sit down and ask yourself, what happened this past year? And then now you've got a foundation on which to plan your new year. And so right now it's December 29th as we're recording this podcast. We'll be off the air on New Year's Eve. And I'll be heading out on my quarterly sabbatical, and I'll be off the air on Tuesday. So I'll be returning on Thursday, a week from Thursday. So whatever that is. So I think it's the 6th. We'll be back on the air on Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific with Revenue Growth Live. I'll be off the grid Sunday through Tuesday on a sabbatical. And you go, Darrell, what in the world is that? I started a habit in my life 10 years ago where every 90 days, I take 3 days off the grid. Now, as you recover from the collective gasp that went across the audience, I'll tell you what, that's exactly what I do. I unplug the internet. I unplug my phone. I tell my wife, hey, I'll see you in 3 days. Here's an emergency number where I'm staying. And it gives me the opportunity to plan. And so day one of my sabbatical is reflection. Day two is just connecting with my purpose and my vision. And day three is planning out the next 90 days, or usually in January, I kind of stretch that out a little bit and look forward to the entire year. This practice has helped me incredibly. It's charted the course for my life in directions that I couldn't have dreamed. Well, I dreamed them. So, and they're happening. So a lot of that happened in those moments of clarity in the Entrepreneur's Operating System in the book Traction. Gino Wickman talks about clarity breaks, and every leader needs a clarity break moment where you can actually sit and think. And I don't know about you, but I go all the time. So these reset moments on a 90-day basis are incredibly helpful to me. So I'm curious if anyone else listening in has done a sabbatical before, and if you are, that is great. Hey, Maria, by the way, thanks for reading the book, and Dennis, thanks for joining us today. It is, I want to just double dog dare everyone that's listening live or everyone that is listening in later to take some time off the grid. I don't know if you can do 3 days. To me, it's tough. I'm not going to lie. The first 24 hours, I want to crawl out of my skin. But I'll tell you what, once I get into that groove, I've been able to get some insight and ideas and all of that. So I highly recommend getting off the grid and planning, but at a minimum, sit down and review your previous year. And I would love to hear from anyone that writes their annual report. I don't need to see it. It's probably personal, although you're welcome to share it. But I want to challenge you to reflect on your year to the extent that you can actually create an annual report on 2020, and that'll give you a great foundation for 2021. So as we wrap up the year, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody. This year has been fraught with challenges. It's been full of changes. It's been a year of pivoting, repivoting, and trying to figure things out. But guess what? We've done it, and you're still here, and you have made it through 2020. And I'm willing to bet you're a better person because of it. I wouldn't have wished this year and the circumstances that we're in right now on anybody. However, this is an incredible opportunity right now to we've had a year of growth. And so I want to say thank you to everybody out there, the C-Suite Radio Network that hosts the Revenue Growth Podcast. We've had this mantra all year saying, drive and thrive. Right now, it's time. It's been a year to drive and thrive, and you've done that. So thank you. It's been a total privilege working with everybody, sharing ideas, trying to figure things out. And I think this year we've proved that we can do that. We've proved that we can pivot. And I think for many of us in our annual report, we're going to realize that there was more inside than maybe we thought was there. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful, happy new year. Enjoy the holiday. Get some time for reflection. I'll see you back here the first Thursday of the new year. Check out the Authentic Selling Challenge. Make sure to register for that. Or if you know a salesperson in your life, register for that. But enjoy. And yes, Dennis, drive and thrive. Sandy, thanks for joining us. And Happy New Year, everybody. I'll see you on the other side.